to do something a little different today. Take a break from the restoration videos. We'll get back to those because we still are doing a lot of work on the church building, but just want to do something a little different, and we'll try to do that from time to time. My plan is to interview some other people in ministry, and I hope to do that fairly soon. But today, I want to share with you some of the differences our family has had to adapt to from being a family that lived in the southern part of the U.S. and moving to Wales here in the U.K. There's a number of things that are different. A lot of things you have to get used to just living life here in the U.K. And one of those things is driving. We've been here for 3 years now, and so I have adapted to the driving somewhat. You do drive on the other side of the road, and you sit on the other side of the car. That takes a little getting used to, but once you've done it for a while, that's not really a big deal. Now, there are times that I revert back to old ways, but for the most part, that's not a great deal to get over. But you do have to learn the road rules here, the different laws, different signs, and get used to those things, roundabouts, get used to knowing how to use a roundabout properly. And in the villages, on the roads through the villages, you have to be very careful. There's not a lot of room for parking. Most of your houses in the villages don't have parking driveways or anything. They are built right on the road, so the people park on the sides of the road. And when you travel through, you'll have cars parked on both sides, taking up partial parts of the left and right-hand lane. So you have to be careful driving through there and be respectful of the driver. Sometimes you have to stop and we'll let another vehicle come through and then go because of the roads are just tight. So you got to get used to that. A lot of pedestrians out as well. So you learn to be more patient and more respectful of other drivers when you're driving through those areas. And there are cameras everywhere. You don't normally see police out on the roads, but there's cameras, traffic cameras, speed cameras out in most areas. And on your major highways and motorways, there are even cameras that are, they call them average speed zones. And so you'll pass by one of the cameras, it'll clock your speed, and maybe a quarter mile down the road, it'll clock your speed again. And so it can tell from the distance you've traveled if you've been speeding in between those zones. So you have to be really careful, maintain the right speed, and be very thoughtful as you drive here. I'm going to show you some clips of us driving here through the village roads and through roundabouts and let you see kind of what we deal with on the road. One of the other differences you see here is a simple thing like going out to eat breakfast. Now, being from North Georgia, you will go out and you're thinking biscuits and gravy. But biscuits as we know them are non-existent here. Gravy is not the same here. It's really not a breakfast food. And so when you go out to eat breakfast, you'll find different things. I'll show you here is a traditional English breakfast, or one version of a traditional English breakfast. They can vary, but on this particular one, you'll see there's a fried potato hash brown, there's some mushrooms, toast, baked beans, a fried egg, and a sausage link, and also bacon. If you can see it underneath those beans, but the bacon is a little different here. They do have what we would consider bacon there in the South, but it's called streaky bacon. But the bacon you normally find is it's almost like what we would think of in the U.S. as a very thin sliced piece of ham. But it's very good. Matter of fact, one of my favorites I'll show you here has become the bacon roll. It is just a little bun there with butter and a slice of the bacon, and it's very good. But just something a little different. You know, you get used to it. But different than what we are accustomed to. Another thing we've had to get used to is shopping here just for everyday items, items you need just to live life. There are some of the same items, some of the same brands in the U.S. and here in the U.K., but not all. And so we've had to learn by trial and error the best products and the best brands to get. What's the best cleaning product? What's the best shampoo? What's the best dishwashing detergent, and those type things. What is it that we need? And some things that we are used to, we've found that are called by different names. And so it's took a little while to get used to that, but I think after 3 years we've figured those things out. Food has been another part of shopping we've had to get used to. One of the things is you have to really pay attention to sell-by dates, use-by dates, because your foods don't have as many preservatives in them, and they won't last as long. Also, another thing we may look at in another video is your freezers, refrigerators tend to be smaller, so you don't have a lot of room to buy up meats and things that you can freeze and keep for long periods of time. So you have to really pay attention to the dates on the products you buy. Also here, if you can look on the clip I'm showing, things are measured differently. You'll find that everything is in grams, kilograms, and milliliters. And it doesn't sound like much, but it's something you have to get used to, especially if you're buying for a specific recipe. You have to remember how those amounts translate. When I buy building materials to work at the church or do something here at home, and even the leaflets that I purchase for the church, everything's measured in centimeters or millimeters or meters instead of inches and feet. And so I'm often getting my phone out and doing a conversion, so I make sure I get the right size and the right amounts of materials. It's hard to transition into something else, and so it's just one of those little things that you have to get used to living outside of the U.S. Well, that's just a few things our families had to adapt to, moving from the southern part of the United States over to Wales here in the UK. If you'd like to see and hear more about the differences, or if you have any specific questions or content you'd like to see, leave a comment and we'll do our best in the future to share more things like this. If you enjoyed this, click the like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're going to continue to do our best to post videos each week.